Hey guys, so today we're going to be focusing on reflections. And if you notice, I have given you an example of a reflection. Be careful because first I have reflected it over the y and then I reflected it over the x-axis. So what usually happens when you do a reflection, all that means is that the shape or the figure is going to be flipped over an axis. So whether that be the x-axis or the y-axis, they will tell you. So let's look at what happens when you reflect over the x-axis. So I have my original xy, and it's going to yield x negative y. So if we're noticing, we can see that the only thing that changed are my y's. I went from a positive y to a negative y. Okay. When I reflect over the y-axis, guess what? Now my x's are changing. So instead of having that positive, now we're changing the negative. Okay. So let's go to example 1. Okay, it says reflect the triangle over the x-axis. So because I'm reflecting over the x-axis, that means my y's are the only thing that are going to change. So when I do my a prime, I know that the 2 is going to stay the same because the only thing that should be changing are my y's. So that's a 2, comma, and because that's a positive 3, that now changes to negative 3. With b, to find b prime, that x3 is going to stay the same. The only thing I'm changing is my y, and because that is a positive 1, that is going to change to a negative 1. And I am simply going to make this larger for you guys so that we don't get confused. Okay. And then with C, to get my C prime, I am leaving the X alone. So that 1 is going to stay the same. Because my Y is a 2, that means I now change to negative 2. Okay, so when you're reflecting over the x-axis, the only thing that is changing are your y's. Okay, so my numbers are still the same, it's just that they are negative. Let's move on to example 2. I am going to make these a bit bigger, just a smidge, so that we do not have any interruptions when we are doing this. Okay. So we are now reflecting over the y-axis. So when we reflect over the y-axis, my x's are going to change. So to get my m prime, that x is a negative 5. So we are going to change that. Instead of a negative 5, now it becomes a positive 5. I am going to leave my y's alone, so that is going to stay negative 3. I am only changing one letter at a time. Okay, for my a prime, because I'm reflecting over the y-axis, my x is going to change. So instead of having negative 2, now I have a positive 2. And my y is going to stay the same. Move that over. There we go. T prime. Again, reflecting over the y, so my x is going to change. Instead of negative 2, that's now going to be a positive 2. And my y's, I'm going to leave alone. Can I move it? Okay. And then finally, my h prime. I'm reflecting over the y-axis, so my x's are changing. Instead of the negative 5, I'm going to have positive 5, and then my y is going to stay the same. So there is my new coordinates. I didn't make anything bigger or smaller, and even if we look at my example here, I didn't change the size or the shape. I just flipped it. That's all I did. So when we're talking about the image and the pre-image, remember pre-image is our original. So when I'm looking at my original here and my new images, They are exactly the same. They are going to be congruent. Congruent. That's my Del Canto spell. Sorry. And of course, in previous lectures, I have said that the corresponding angles, they are never going to change. They are going to also be congruent. Congruent. Okay, congruent. And my corresponding sides are going to be congruent as well, because I am not changing the size or the shape. It's the exact same figure. All I'm doing is just flipping it. Okay. It's like when you see your reflection in the mirror, you don't get skinnier, you don't get thicker. If you look into the reflection, that is just you. It is just your reflection. You're just flipped. Okay. And I have embedded for you practice 1 and practice 2. And if you have any questions, you guys can let me know. I am here to help. I will see you guys later. Bye.